Hello, welcome back to the No Excuses podcast. My name is Anne, and today I'm sat in a dark Worcestershire in the middle of England. It's like mizzle outside, not quite rain, and it's about 3 o'clock and it's getting dark really early again. I've come on today very unstructured. I've not written any notes, which means anything could happen, but you know me. I can't believe we're at episode 30 already. Wow, where's that time gone? Yeah, I can't remember what. I'll have to have a look and see when my anniversary, my first year anniversary is actually, because I think it's probably February or March. So, but welcome back. I hope you've had a good break. If you have had Christmas, you've been celebrating, or you've been dreading it and you're at the other side. Yeah, we are. We've had a bit of an adventure, which I'll talk about at the end of the episode. But today I've come on to remind you about the ending of the seasonal mall. Talk about the malls, talk about my plans for next year, what I've been doing, some of the little things I got for Christmas that are craft related, and yeah, and then some waffle along. First of all, what am I wearing? I was going to wear my ranunculus today, but I'm too cold. The heating's on. It's just me. I've got cold hands all the time. So yet again, I'm in my, what I call my house jumper, because the other one, the green one, got put in the bin because it was too holey. So now I'm wearing this one to bits. Not quite. I mean, it's wearing up really well, actually. But I've got 3 altogether. I need to get the other one out that I haven't worn yet this winter and give that a bit of a whirl. Put this in the wash. This is made from various Biffsugar and Family Tree yarn advent minis that I had in 2019. Sorry about the noise in the background. That's Tom fiddling in the kitchen, I think. Don't know what he's doing. Anyway, let's talk about the mall first to get that out of the way. I started recording a few minutes ago, but my phone kept telling me to reach the maximum size for the video and restarted twice. Now, although it does that seamlessly, it normally does that at 30 minutes, not at 6. I've looked at my phone, I've deleted a load of stuff off there. I've got an extended memory on my phone with an SD card, but it doesn't seem to want to put anything on there, even though I've tried to put the settings so that any photographs and things go on the SD card. But I need to look up how to make sure it does that properly, because it's obviously not doing that. And I don't keep a lot of stuff on my phone anyway. I'm always deleting things off it. Stop moaning. Get on with it. Right, the malls. The make-along, the seasonal make-along, which is autumn/spring, depending on where you are in the world, will end tomorrow night. I'll probably close the thread on Ravelry or take entries up until the weekend, probably Sunday, to allow for time differences. And then I will, next week, I will draw for 2 winners. The first one will be for the autumn/spring element, and the second one will be for anyone who's entered any of the different seasons. You will get 1 entry into the overall draw for each season that you entered, and then I'll draw for that as well. I will make bags. Didn't make a bag last time for the 500 subs. I still might make Diane a bag because the bag to send to Diane's in Australia. The bag to send to Australia is quite heavy, so if there's a price break, I'd rather send her more gifts than just one big heavy bag, if you know what I mean. Anyway, we'll sort that out. And I'm itching to do a bit more sewing anyway. Now I've had a few weeks rest. I still want to make myself a big square-bottomed padded bag that stands up on its own. I just haven't got round to it really. I'm so cluttered underneath here. It's ridiculous. Everything is at arm's reach, and I've got to spend some time in my room and do some decluttering. Because, of course, over Christmas it's got worse because I've had a few presents and things. So the clutter has, well, it's like getting on my nerves now. So let's start with the, so yes, the mouths. Please enter if you want to. It's not compulsory, obviously, but yeah, the more the merrier, as they say. Now let's talk about what I've been making next, and then I want to talk about my plans, and then some things I've received for Christmas, etc, etc. We'll plod on from there. First of all, let's talk about the crochet blanket. I'm nearly finished. I've got 2 or 3 more rounds to do. I'll put some photographs in because it's far too heavy for me to hold up and show you. I'm pleased with the overall look. I think it goes nice with the curtains. When I've laid it on the bed to see what Tom did, laid it on the bed to see if it was big enough for what we needed. And I'm going round. I wanted to do 1 round at least of each colour that is included in the squares, but I haven't got enough red to go right round, and also the red's a bit strong compared to the other colours, and I've decided that I don't want any more pale green in there. I'm going to have a bit of yarn left over, but I might use that for toys because it's a nice double knitting cotton and acrylic mix, so it's quite nice for toys, I think. So yes, I'll say I put some pictures in. I'm going to do another round. I've done mainly half trebles, which will be half double, I presume, in US terms, around the edge, because it's nice and tight, because I don't want Bertie catching his claws in the edge as he jumps on and off the bed. It'll be the sort of thing, you know, that, well, he got caught in something that he was jumping off the settee with, and it really hurt him. He had to go and have an injection at the vet's, and he couldn't use his leg for a couple of days, and it made him quite poorly. So I want to avoid that happening with this blanket. So yeah, next time I record, I will have finished. I'm not going to wash it before I put it on the bed, because being a dog blanket, it needs to be washed, you know, every few days anyway. So I don't see the point of washing it when the dog doesn't care if it's come from the warehouse, etc. Yeah, it doesn't look dirty. It will get put on the bed and then get washed before the end of next week. So, well, whenever I finish it. So that's a crochet blanket. I was making Tom a cardigan, as you know, out of this lovely yarn from Libby at Needle and Thread, and the colour is called Steely Glare, and it's a grey, and it's a grey marl. It's lovely. This is BFL in worsted weight. I think talking to you is a bit like going to a diet club, you know, where you get weighed and it plays on your conscience if you wanted to. Well, I've done the back, the 2 fronts with kangaroo pockets, and I've done the first sleeve, and even though I ordered 2 more skeins from Libby just before Christmas, I knew I was going to run out again. Now I'm doing the largest size, and I'm a loose knitter, but I have checked my gauge, and I've measured the back, and it will be, I know it's superwash, so it's going to give a bit when it's worn and washed, but it was going to be fine size-wise. So I don't really want to change the size, and I was doing a very gentle twist pattern every 8 rows with a 3x1 rib all the way over, and I thought, I think this is using too much material. So if you can hear any noise, it's Tom making sausage rolls. Now, so I decided, predictably you might say, to start again, apart from the rib. I've saved all the ribs. I know it's going to take me a while, but when you're talking about something handmade and he's going to keep it for years, well, he'd better keep it for years, then what's the point of me cutting corners and saying it'll do. He wants a nice big shawl collar. That's going to take more than a skein of yarn, because it comes all the way up the front, all the way around the back of the neck on both sides, and it's a generous collar. You know, I'm going to run out. So this is me knitting it in stocking stitch, and it's lovely. It's on a 5mm needle. So there we go. This is a sleeve. It might be a bit long actually, but I'll finish that. That took me about a couple of days. So I've undone all the rest of it. Oh no, I might have one front to undo, and I'm going to start knitting it again, and I'll get that done. But now he knows what it is. I can sit, and the crochet is done. I can sit in front of the telly and do a couple of hours every night, and it will soon knit up. I'll probably have it done by the end of Jan. Be nice if you could wear it this winter. And I've also been thinking about buttons or toggles, and the buttons would be nicer. And I need to think about getting those before the end, or raid my mum's button jar again. I don't tend to have as many big buttons, and if we do, they're like old coat buttons, and we've probably only got 1 or 2. So I might have to order some buttons for him. So that's my big confession, is the fact that I've had to start that over again, and I'm not happy about it, but then I'm not that sad about it, because I know it's an investment in time that will be appreciated, and it will be worn. Right, let's have a look now at the last of the nature clubs that I've been doing with Emily, from Emily of Rhapsodye Works. Rhapsodye Yarns and Notions, she's called, and you know I've been showing you the nature club from Emily this year. Now I've got something missing here, and it might have been edible, so I ate it, but I can't remember. Or was it? Anyway, there was a third thing included in here, and I can't for the life of me think it was. But first, the yarn. Isn't that lovely? Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. It is like a burgundy with grey. Really, really nice. It's you know, this is BFL, and it's poinsettia. Now I suspect the merino version is a bit more saturated than this. Sorry. Oh, it's got a little bit of green in there as well. Doesn't show up as very green on the screen. Oh, there you go. A little bit more green. So that's my final nature club, and I will not be joining any more clubs, any new clubs this year. 2022, I mean. So, got itchy all of a sudden. So I'm really pleased with that, and I've been really pleased with the nature club. I've given one of them away to sell in South Wales, but apart from that, I've kept them all. I will be giving a second one away, which will go into which is going into the autumn now, but I'm not telling you any more at this stage. And then that came with a needle felting kit for a robin. Oh, I've just remembered what she gave me. I'm not going to go and get it. It's a little box of holly leaves with berries on, like picks that you can put into things, and some long acrylic droppers that you could hang on a tree. So, you know, again, I keep banging on about this. For £22, including postage, you get a lot for your money from Emily. And if you want a yarn club, then I think she's got 2 running this year, but I can't remember what they were because I didn't take a lot of notice because I didn't want to be tempted. But while we're on the subject of incoming, yeah, I've really enjoyed that club. The 2 clubs I've still got going are the Hogwarts Legacy one from Tanning Yarns, and I think I've got 2 more out of the 6 to come from them for her. And then the other one is the Ombre minis from Vicki Brown Designs, and I will carry on doing those until I get to complete the circle of colours. Not I need any more minis, I've got minis coming out of my eyeballs, you know, but I do love them. So while we're on the subject of incoming, I'm just going to show you a couple of things that I had for Christmas, mainly from the Tenor girls. Now, one of the Tenor girls, Nick, is quite crafty herself. In fact, she said she's just knitted herself the open water shawl by, is it Melanie Berg? Anyway, the open water shawl. She went off knitting a bit when she found that the moths had eaten a lot of her lovely stuff that she'd done. And then she went on to needle felting, and she's done some cross stitch, and now she's having a bit of a push on knitting, or she had been. So in our, what we do, we get a bag for each other. We do a swap. We've mainly put the same things in each for everybody. But in hers, I had this, which is make your own felt decoration. So I've got a reindeer and a polar bear. And I mean, you can pick these up. I think they're the Trimmets ones, aren't they? Yeah. And they're quite reasonable value, actually. And you've got everything in there that you need. Pre-cut felt, instruction sheet, stuffing, a bell, pom-poms. The only thing you've not got in there, you've got a thread and needle, is you don't get the glue. And I don't know where you need the glue. But the other two ladies, Nikki and Jan, had different ones. And what we've said is these need to be completed by February. Normally, on a Tenor day, we would go to one of the local Wetherspoons after our nice meal, somewhere a bit posher, and play silly games and make things. We've done things with balloons, pipe cleaners, you name it, we've done it. Buy a kid's set of something, you know, straws. Yeah. And I bought a little kit this year for them to make, but because we weren't going anywhere else, because there's nowhere we're going into the Crown in Worcester, which is a bit of a dive anyway, after being at the Cosy Club. And also we didn't know how long we were going to be allowed to be in the Cosy Club, because they put an hour and a half limit on your meal booking. But they were empty by the time we left. We were there 4 hours. So we could have done things, and I don't think they would have minded. But Nick also included in the in our Tenor ladies thing, is beautiful. We all had one of these, which is a needle felted mistletoe brooch back. Isn't that lovely? I wore that Christmas. I put that on, and I wore it on Christmas Day. So really, and it's from this company called Felt So Good, and I'm based in Nepal, apparently. I don't know where she bought them from, but the other thing she bought me is a beehive. Isn't that lovely? Because she knows I love bees. They bought me for my 60th birthday. They bought me bumblebee earrings, which I should wear one day on the podcast. So yeah, that is gorgeous. A bit big for our tree, so it's going to go and hang up behind me so I can see it all year. Get Tom to put it on my notice board. So that was really, really nice. So I've got 2 kits to do, and I've got 2 needle felting things to inspire me to do some needle felting myself. So we had various other things, a bit of chocolate. Last night I had one of those chocolate balls that you put in hot milk, and then marshmallows pop out of it as it melts. One of the things Nikki gave us was this key ring with little glitter thing on. So you got eyeshadow, a lip gloss, and a tube of glitter, which is one of our favourite things. Now, we might be older ladies. Me and Jana are both in our early 60s now, and Nikki is 59 next year. Nick's about 9 years younger than us. But we do like to be glitter babes every now and again. So I've proposed that when we can finally, we don't know how long it's going to be, but we can get out and about and we can freely, perhaps in the summer where we don't have to be indoors, we're going to have another Glitter Babes Day. And we do it for our own entertainment. We dress up, we don't dress up, just look silly, put some glitter on our face, drink cocktails and play silly games. And despite what several men have thought over the years, we are not on the ball. not our partners or husbands, but people, you know, who think, oh, them girls are having some fun. We have played some very rude games over the years. And twice, some older men have come up, they've finished their drinking. It was in Wetherspoons years ago in the postal order. And we had pin a cucumber on a hook. And there was a man like lying down. Well, you can imagine. But you have to wear a blindfold. And this bloke was sat there. We deliberately went somewhere out of the way in the pub, so because we were going to be giggling and being silly. But these blokes were watching us from the other side of this little alcove plate thing. And this one man got up and he came. He said, "Love," he said, "I haven't had such a laugh in ages." He said, "Thank you for the entertainment to us all, you know." Our pleasure. We were just being silly. And they weren't offended. So, well, Jan, we all open different presents. You know, we have a bag each from the same person. And we're all opening different things. You end up with about 6 or 7 little packages inside. And Jan opened hers, and it was a collagen mask. I said, "Oh, Nikki's bought you a collagen mask. What's she saying, Jan? You know, you've got all wrinkles now." And she goes, "Oh, how dare you say that about me?" See, I get mine out, and mine says collagen as well. Serves me right. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have a drink. I had 1 glass of wine. Because we thought we might only be there 90 minutes, I thought, what's the point of getting Tom to drop me off and to come back in? And the traffic was quite bad, although town itself wasn't that busy. Cozy Club got quite busy, and then it died off again. But we had a nice time. And we all said we were pleased we made the effort to get together. I had their buttermilk chicken. I bought half of it home. It's in like a flavoured breadcrumb. I bought half mine home. Tom had it on a sandwich with his tea. So nothing was wasted. Okay. What else have I had for Christmas? Tom had bought me the Emma Vining book on making shawls, but I haven't got that out. But I'll put a photograph of it up and I'll show it on a future podcast. And that's lovely. Yeah, my brother and sister-in-law bought us a lovely set of little tiny jams with some beautiful crystallised fruits in the middle, all on a chalkboard. And also the Mowgli street food recipe book, which will be nice. Because I've not been to Mowgli yet, and I do want to go. It's a chain of modern Indian cuisine, I think. So, yeah, and I had other bits and pieces as well. I have been, before Christmas, and I won't get them all out, but before Christmas, Jane of Mouse Knits and Crafts, did a swap, an advent swap, and I've got all the minis. I'm going to put them in this bag. I'm going to show you in a minute. I've been collecting all the minis, and I'm going to make them into an advent sock for next year, as a, you know, string of socks. Bunting, but on Christmas Day, the gift for that was this beautiful bag that Jane's made, and actually it's quite long, which is really useful for storing things in. I mean, it would fit skeins that you haven't wound yet perfectly in there, you know, for storage and things. And at the moment, I have got my Family Tree Yarns Advent, which comes in little bags like. In fact, I'll show you a full one. Little bags like this. This is one of my main Christmas presents. You see it got a number on it. 22. And they alternate between red and brown little Hessian style bags. And that Jane's also Jane from Family Tree Yarns. So I'm opening those, but I won't show you those until they're all complete, because otherwise I'll be here forever. But this lovely bag that Jane's made got butterflies on the outside and beautifully colourful lining with a pink zip. It all looks very, very nice together. And I'm going to put Jane's, when I'm a bit further down this Family Tree Advent, I'm at day 10 now. I open them from Boxing Day to a day. And I've done that for the last 3 years. I've had 2 Advents from Tom, but I buy them, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so I'll put Jane's in here, and then I'm going to start doing the bunting for the advent for next year. And I'm hoping I might actually get 2 sets of bunting so that I can give one away, or whatever, from the minis that Jane gave me. So that's incoming, more or less. I'm still waiting. I think I had a Vicki Brown Designs just before Christmas. They were grey, and if I can lay my hands on them, I will show you. I'll put a photograph in, because, you know, I am disorganised as always. But you've come to expect that. So let's talk about the things that haven't got to me quite, like Tom's cardi, etc. And let's talk about nicer things, and that's planning. You know I love to plan, even if I don't stick to them for more than 5 minutes. I have wanted to join in with Ange of Yarn and Yarns podcast fame, her 12 cast-ons. Now, I saw Ange do it last year. I need to go back further and watch her. I think this might be the 3rd year you've done it, Ange. I need to look all this up. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to struggle to get enough needles to cast on 12 things and to get the space around me to store them. Because the idea is you cast them on and you do, you know, one each day, and you get as far as you can on that day, and then you put them to one side, and then you knit them throughout the year. And Ange will readily admit that, you know, she's still got things, I think, from the 1st year, but that don't matter. It doesn't matter. So if you look at her Vlogmas, you will see various, she chats about it towards the end, and she started doing her 12 days of cast on. I saw the first one yesterday, which was Wednesday. So I've made a list of the things I want to do, and I will cover those next time, because you have to cast them on before the end of January, and mine won't be done in consecutive days, because like I said earlier, I really need a big tidy up. But I wanted to ask your opinion on it, and I'm hoping you'll have the same opinion as me. You often find that people ask your opinion, that they'll do what they want anyway. But I'm going to knit my cousin the Wild Rye shawl. My lisp got in the way a bit then. By Maddie Harvey, and it's a lovely slip stitch shawl. I'll put a photograph up, and it's done in 2 contrast yarns. Now they're not very high contrast, the ones that she's done. When I went to the Nottingham Yarn Fest in 2019, I bought a set of 5 skeins. In fact, I ordered them, and Helen of Giddy Yarn sent me them afterwards, so I didn't use a lot of her stock. In the Turning Tide kit. So you get 3, but I've only got the 2 here, and I've got the lightest and the darkest. There is a middle one, which I'll show you in the future. But you can see this is, oh, you see, you can see any speckles. You think it's pale blue, almost turquoisey, very, you know, sea-like, because it's called Turning Tide, and it has got a few speckles on it. And then you've got this one, which is a beautiful rich colour, almost not quite a teal. It's very blue on the screen, and that has got green speckles in, but I can't actually find any to show you on the outside of the ball. So I put these together thinking they would make a nice contrast to make the Wild Rye shawl. Which it does. There you go. Okay. So with this shawl, I think it says this on Ravelry anyway, you start from the middle and work out 2 ways. So I've started from the middle on one side, and the thing that attracted me to this shawl is it's got a built-in fringe. So you start you've got a bit here at the end, the beginning and end of each row, and that ends up being a fringe at the end, and I quite like that idea. But I'm having a problem. Now you might be able to sit on the, no you can't really, it's not showing up. I don't know if I can take any better photographs, but this is a double pass method, so you do 2 right side rows, 2 wrong side rows. And it looks very nice, doesn't it? It looks very effective. But my problem with it is that with the speckles and those 2 yarns separately, I don't think it's doing those yarns justice. Because the light coloured yarn is just being overshadowed by the dark. And the light coloured yarn has got more speckles in it that are just disappearing. And I don't like that. So I'm thinking of doing a different shawl. It may be I do a Hoagie Locatelli one that I've got a pattern for. But yeah, so what do you think? I mean, am I being too pernickety? I think overall that's going to look dark, because that being so dominant, it's not quite coming out. And if you see Maddie's photograph where she's got 2 lower contrast yarns, then, and they're not tonal, you know, they're more, they might be a bit tonal, but they, you know, I know these look solid, but they're not quite. I mean, I've left it to talk to you about it because I'm thinking I should try a different pattern. I do want to knit this shawl with different yarns because I'm enjoying it, and that's 1.5, that's only a few hours work, and I've quite got into it now. I'm fed up and stopping, you know, with the best of intentions. I mean, there's no way I was going to swatch for that, but I could have done a few rows of, you know, knitting with the 2 yarns, I suppose. But like most people, I suspect, I didn't read the whole shawl, and also I'm quite visual, so I can read things and not understand them until I start doing it. So I'm not sure that I would have actually have done any better if I'd read it first. I think I would, oh yeah, I just cast on, it'll be fine. And that's my attitude to life. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to start again, and I will sit down, and within the next fortnight, so it'll be well within the realms of the cast on guidelines, I will change the shawl I'm going to knit, and I will complete my 12 cast on list, and I'm going to start doing them, maybe not one a day, but I'm going to crack on, because I find the idea of deciding on most of my projects or major projects for the year quite exciting, because then I don't have to think anymore about what I'm going to do. And I always do 2 projects at once anyway. I'm not that keen on doing, this would have been the 3rd one for me, you see, because I've still got the blanket and the cardigan to do. So I don't know where I would have fitted it in, because normally I do 1 in the day and 1 at night. And now I'm thinking, yeah, well, you know, let's go with the flow, Anne. So yeah, I think I'm going to undo that. What do you think? I'll wait until I see some comments, because you might have an idea that I haven't had. And also, if you've got any recommendations for a 2 skein triangular shawl, then I will be most interested in, that works well with a lightly speckled yarn. Because it seems a shame that Helen's gone through the trouble to make it all speckly, and then it's not going to show up. You know what I mean? I think you need big wadges of the same colour in order to do that. I'm just keeping this in I don't know where these have come from, these bags. I've got a couple of them, like these white long bags. I think things get delivered in them, you know, and I keep them because I think it might come in use. I'm that sort of girl. So, yes, well, so that's another dilemma. I should rename this podcast to the Procrastinator, or what about No Excuses? I can't make up my mind would be better. The other thing I forgot to mention, as well as opening the family tree yarns, my other big present to myself from Tom is an advent from Adventures in Yarncraft, and that is turning into a lovely fade. In fact, I've unfollowed her on Instagram just to get me over the hump of not buying things. I will start to follow the indie dyers again once I know I can be trusted not to want to buy yarn. But she did put a picture up of a finished scarf with it flowing, and I thought, am I upset now? I've seen the whole thing, and no, I'm looking forward to opening it because it's really, really nice. It looks like it's going to be the perfect combination of colours for me. So now I think it was the family tree yarns has included this Winchester Rose pattern from Ravelry, and she included a crochet one as well, which I didn't really like. I haven't kept that one, but this looks quite nice, so I might have a go at that. It's like a ripple effect. I mean, it's quite nice to have a pattern included with your kit, and it's Jane Austen inspired colour combinations, which would be a lot darker. Most of them, some of them are darker than these pastel colours that you've got on the original pattern, but they still look very, very nice. I'm just going to grab some paper before it falls off onto the floor and I can't reach it. And I ordered some more tips, higher sharp tips from Wallstack. Unfortunately, I couldn't get one of the connectors to connect to the tips. So I've written to Kevin to ask him whether I've ordered the wrong thing, but I got them to join other ones, so it might just be a mismatch between those tips and that particular cable is not working, because it looks like I have ordered the right size. But that's a bit frustrating because they're not cheap, but they are an investment for me because I do like my higher sharps. They are my favourite needles. Despite having the Chirgoos, I still prefer my sharps, especially if I'm doing something on a smaller gauge, tighter gauge. So I am ready to go. I bought them with a view to doing the 12 cast-ons. I looked at the most popular sizes I needed for the 9 that I've already decided on, the 9 cast-ons, but I need another 3. Right, yeah, I can't count. Okay, right, let's take a deep breath because I've been wittering on, and let's talk about what's been happening since I last saw you. I already mentioned that I went out for the Tenor Girls and we had a really nice time. I did have a pudding. What did I have? Oh, I was going to have the apple tart, which is quite thin. When I looked at the menu before going out, and they didn't have it. So I ended up with this salted caramel toffee popcorn cheesecake or something like that, which was very nice. But again, yeah, it was nice. It was nicer than the treacle sponge I had at the Harvester. But yeah, it was nice. It was nice. However, if I was just going for an everyday meal, I wouldn't have had it, I'm getting quite good at not having sweets because I used to see every opportunity going out to have a pudding, and I don't do that so much nowadays. I might have grown up a bit. Okay, so yes, I went out there, and then I met Penny briefly, and I'm hoping to meet Penny and Maggie very, very soon after New Year. We just exchanged Christmas cards and met her briefly, and then it was Christmas. Saw the Tenor Girls on the 22nd. So Saturday, Mum came here to us on Christmas Day. We had a quiet Christmas. We had turkey. Tom feels that the turkey was overcooked. I don't know, because I didn't eat very much of it because I'd forgotten that we had it with everything that followed on, which I'll tell you about in a minute. And and I forgot there was stuffing in the fridge as well, because I would have had my Christmas Eve tea is usually turkey and stuffing sandwich, and I bought some Garner's pickled shallots from Waitrose. Now I know Waitrose do sell local produce in various of their stores. I read that somewhere. And Garner's are a pickled onion, they do pickles, and they're based in Pershore in Worcestershire, which is not too far from here. They, and they're nice. I think they're very much like homemade ones that my mum used to make when we were younger. Yeah, I find a lot of the shop bought ones very strong, and I can't eat them. I'm not a big vinegar lover anyway, but yeah, I really enjoyed my sandwich. So Mum came on the thingy. We had, we don't do starters, we don't do pigs in blankets. We have a very nice meal. We had our own carrots that Tom pulled up from the garden just before cooking. We had our own green beans that we'd frozen, sprouts, roast parsnip, potatoes, proper turkey gravy, turkey and stuffing, and that was it. And then Mum and I had Yule chocolate log for pudding, and I had double cream. Mum had ice cream, and that was nice as well, but I felt quite full afterwards. I did have some tea. Later on I had a cheese sandwich, very plain cheese sandwich on white bread, just what I fancied, about 8 o'clock I think. Mum and I went for a walk. I said, let's go for a walk. It was bitterly cold. It was just getting dark, well, starting to, if you can tell the difference at this time of year. The weather was very similar to what it is today, and it was quite windy. It was bitter, and even my mum, who's a seasoned walker, she goes out every day walking, felt it was a bit too cold for comfort. But we walked round the back of the road that is at the back of us on the estate, just look at the lights and things. It was pretty enough. And then we were watching telly. Mum went home about 5, and we were watching telly later on Saturday night, and Bertie got up off the settee, which he rarely does. Tom took him out, and he started getting poorly, to the point that he got us up several times. Well, I say us, I mean Tom got us up several times that night. It was like a form of gastroenteritis, I suppose. Yeah, and the worst bit for us was that he was shaking. So, but he's a very good boy. He always tells us when he needs to go out. On Sunday, Tom hadn't slept very well Christmas Eve. Didn't hardly had any sleep on Christmas Day night. So he was like a zombie on the Sunday. So on Sunday night, when Bert was still poorly, he wasn't showing really any signs of improvement. But we were trying to get a little bit of food down him from the point of view that he needs his anti-inflammatories, but only very, very plain food. Anyway, on Monday morning, I was going to my mum's on Monday afternoon. At 5:30 in the morning, I got up, because Bert had been up every 2 hours. I said, look, I'm going to go in the lounge with Bertie, and you can stay in bed, get some sleep, because he was like a zombie at that point. So I was with Bertie every 90 minutes. Bert wanted to go out. I was cold, sat in the chair, with just my jumper on and whatever blankets I could find in the lounge. But I covered him up and he stopped dithering then. I think he had been a bit cold. I mean, he's on a warm bed, it's heated, the house is heated in the day, all day, you know, but not at night. And he turned a bit of a corner, because I got my phone out at 5:30 and I was looking up emergency vets, and I was thinking, okay, Tom's gone to sleep now, but the minute he gets up, we're going to the vets down the road. And it would have been about 300 quid odd to get him jabbed. We've had to do that once before in the summer. Anyway, he got better. At 9:30 in the morning, Tom got up. I went back to bed for a couple of hours. Bertie came with me, and he actually stayed on the bed for a couple of hours, and we both slept soundly. So that was a good sign, and he started getting us up less frequently. So Tuesday night, he got us up twice or 3 times. And then last night he didn't get us up at all, and he's a lot better today. His general demeanour's a lot better. So he hasn't been to the vets. He's done a lot of sleeping in the last 2 days. But his body's getting back to its normal functions, hopefully. Poor little thing. But, yeah, what can you do? We were prepared to take him to the vets. But I think us talking about it, she's like, I'm not going there. He doesn't bother about going to the vets. He doesn't mind. But, yeah, so that's marred it a bit for us because, you know, you're worried about not getting... None of us have had enough sleep for, I don't know, several nights. And you're worried about the dog. You're watching him constantly, monitoring everything he does, you know, because he's an old dog. He's about 13. But, yeah, you know, he's all right now. But, I don't know, you can't see it now. We bought him a carrot for Christmas, and it's about that long, about 12 inches long, and it's velour, a nice soft, like microfiber fabric, which he likes. It squeaks, and we called it Kevin the carrot after the little advert. Is it Little Aldi? I don't know. And then my sister-in-law, and my brother and sister-in-law bought him a pig. And the pig is about 18 inches long, and it's a bit big for him, really. But he loves the pig. Oh. And he's carrying it around with him, like, and the arms in his eye. As soon as he opened it, because he's really good at opening his own presents, he comes into here with the wall of mirrors that we've got. And he's looking at himself, you know, look at me. His tail's wagging. He does mirrors really well. And he goes back out and he comes back in. He did it 4 times when he opened the pig. Loves the pig. But because he started being poorly just after he had the pig, I washed it, and we're trying to get it dry now. And the squeaker was still full of water. So although the toilet stopped dripping, when Tom squeezed it this morning, more water came out. So it's back on top of the radiator now to hopefully get rid of the last bit of water before we can have it. We pulled it off this radiator behind me a little while ago. So it had to be hidden on the hall under the coats and near where my wheelchairs are down the hall, my power chair, my manual, and he can't get to those radiators. But yeah, he loves the pig. And the pig's got squeaks, it's got crackling ears, and it's got squeaky feet and a squeaky belly, which is a bigger squeaker. But he's not too bothered about the squeak, he just likes chomping them. He just loves his toys. So he's a happy dog again, and it's such a relief. Yesterday, the 29th, a Wednesday, I went to Merry Hill with my friend Elaine. I picked her up. She lives near Dudley, and we went there. It was quite busy. A lot of people without masks. Personally, I mean, the security, it says you have to wear masks. The government have said you have to wear masks. But people think they're above the law. Is it law? Is it guidance? People think they know better. People think they don't want to wear a mask. I think people shouldn't go shopping if they don't want to wear a mask. Personally, I am really I feel very strongly about people taking the vaccine and wearing masks, because if nothing else, out of respect for all those who've died unnecessarily, you know. I don't know what the big issue is personally. I know that some people genuinely can't wear masks, and that's fine, but they are a very small minority compared to those that I saw yesterday. You know, whole families. You're not telling me, well, there's a man last year, and I think he wore something like 14 masks and he was asthmatic, and he ran a marathon. And sometimes it's the fear of things that defeats us rather than just getting on with stuff. So that was all right. We didn't buy much, really. I got some food from M&S. I'll tell you what I did buy. Talk about food again. I bought us a chicken danzak curry for M&S, and it was absolutely lovely. And normally I get disappointed with bought curries, but because Tom was tired and all this with Bertie, I said, I'll get us a ready meal, because he does make a really nice lamb curry every now and again, and we freeze it in batches, but we haven't got any left at the moment. So I bought us this chicken danzak. I've not seen danzak in there before. Maybe I just haven't looked. But it was, so it's lentils, and it's like a sweet and sour type. Not exactly, but it's got like a tang to it. Lemon juice. Yeah, we both thoroughly enjoyed it. Great big chunks of breast meat as well that were easily, you could cut it easily with a spoon. So in terms of quality, we couldn't beat it. And I had naan bread as well. Bought a couple of naan breads for us, and they went down a storm. We both enjoyed it. I was pretty hungry by the time I ate it though. That helps. So yeah, so recommended if you like curry. So I can't think of anything else to say to you apart from how do you celebrate New Year? Do you celebrate? We don't. It'd be, I don't even always have a drink New Year's Eve. I used to, but I don't sort of bother. Tom doesn't drink, so you know, when I'm on my own, if I fancy one in the house, have one, and if I don't, which is usual, I don't. But we, so that'll be tomorrow night. We tend to stay up till about 2 o'clock in the morning because of the fireworks, so that we're not in bed with them going off and birds going ruff, ruff, ruff at them. We can just get to bed and get to sleep. Fingers crossed. So yeah, I can smell sausage rolls coming out of the oven. Tom bought some sausage from Waitrose last week and some puff pastry. We've tried various sausage rolls recently, and they are nice party food. I couldn't find one we liked, so he's made his own, and we'll freeze some. Yeah, so I'm going to go and try one of them in a minute, hopefully. Well, in theory they're for tea, but I do like a hot sausage roll. So we talked about knitting and food again today, so I'm sorry if that doesn't fit what your idea of a crafting podcast is. But yes, if you're interested in the 12 cast-ons, I will put a link to Angie's podcast's channel below. Yeah, let me know what you think of the shawl. What would you do? If you've got any recommendation for alternative patterns, 2 colours, 2 skeins, so 200 grams, I'll be grateful. And before I see you next, I'm going to put together my list, and I should have done some of the cast-ons. So I'm going to love you and leave you. I shall see you in approximately a fortnight. Have a happy new year. I hope all goes well with you. I hope you've had a good break if you've been off work. I hope you've had some fun. You've been able to catch up with family that you might not have been able to see until now, with everything going on. And yeah, I'm around if you want to chat. And I'll see you soon. You take care. Ta-da.